your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 Safe and take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 Safe and sound.
You're ready to go, Cap.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dire Bear Adventuring Company. I am your DM, Heath, a.k.a. Captain Sack. And I would like to welcome everyone to our this episode, which is episode 22 of the Foundations of Adalar, Dire Bear Adventuring Company's fantasy campaign. I say our fantasy campaign because we also have a sci-fi campaign that's on Wednesday nights, Alone in the Void, where I create anxiety, tension, and general neuroses in characters and players as they join me and spoopy things happen. As always, I'm going to go ahead and put the caveat out now that we try to be for everyone, but some of the materials that we deal with are of mature nature, so if your discretion is advised, that means you guys. Last episode, Gillet was recovering from an episode of unlife. Having been resurrected, not quite sure what happened, but pretty sure he died. He decided to take a rest at the inn while the rest of the party investigated some mysterious noises in the catacombs of this temple. They went to the temple and investigated. They found that this was actually a sub-basement or a basement that was built on top of another one. They come to find that a wight and 3 ghasts had risen up out of the pit that leads down into the earlier part of the temple. long abandoned. They fought them, ridding the temple of this undead blight. Lucky made a revelation. The stone that was once in his chest that fell to the ground after casting the resurrection on Gillet might have inadvertently, not intentionally, whoops, my bad, released an ancient white worm somewhere in the realm. Without time to really let that sink in, they head back to turn in their quest to find a lone request for adventurers, flapping idly on the job board there inside of the Adventurers Guild, just quietly sitting there. As they pull it off of the wall and give it a good look over, they realize that it's a request for brave adventurers or someone good with a sword in the town of Adalar, where this whole thing started. Our party tonight is going to be represented by Maddie, who will be playing Annalise, Steve, who is playing Gillet, who is working on his camera as he recently moved into a new location. Congratulations, sir. And he's dealing with some technical issues, but hey, it's not a Dire Bear Adventuring Company episode if there isn't at least one technical issue. I'm trying to figure out what Maddie's eyes were. And we also have Chief with us here as Arneth. Jack playing Yenfir will be joining us later, and unfortunately, but good for him, Lucky is not going to be with us tonight. Ryan is doing his duties with his family today, so we want to say congratulations, and we look forward to having you back, but have a great day off, my friend. With that, let's go ahead and jump in. We're waiting on Jack, who will be joining us here shortly, because it wouldn't be Jack if there's not a little bit of delay.
Nah, Jack's usually on time for Monday nights. It's Wednesday that Jack's
Wednesday
never on
nights,
time
the
for.
captain always wakes up a little bit slower than everyone else.
It's canon now.
It really is.
Annalise, you stand holding the paper in your hand.
We've been gone for what? 2 weeks?
Couple of months. No, it's been about a month and a half or so.
We've been gone for a month, and they're already pulling out another contract for adventurers. What the fuck is going on here?
Well, reading over the contract. Mysterious happenings and sightings, unexplained events occurring in the town of Adalar. Requesting aid to investigate these strange occurrences. Voices in the night. People going into a catatonic state after waking from a fevered dream. All sorts of other strange happenings. They're looking for brave adventurers to help investigate and get to the bottom of what's occurring.
I'd say we're pretty brave.
Well, we're either brave or stupid. But I like the first one, it sounds better.
A little bit both, probably.
Little column A, little column B.
Yeah.
I think I'm more concerned about the fact that we had just fixed that town a month ago, and now it's already in dire need of saving again.
I mean,
Well,
we don't have to go.
I mean, you're right. You're right. However, we don't really have any other leads on this whole larger picture for Adalar. Maybe we can find something else there. Maybe something new has come up. Maybe one of those hag sisters showed up.
That's true.
Who knows?
Alright. I guess
All
I
right.
know where we're going.
So you...
We're going there after I have a nap, because that white took a good chunk out of me and I would like it back.
the harrowing experience, was it?
Yeah.
You take the job off of the board and bring it over to the guildmaster, who looks it up and down, then looks at you. All right. Well, they said they'd take anyone that was brave enough to go. So he takes the paper, signs off. seals and hands it back to you. You know what to do. Good luck.
Thank you.
Where are you heading from here?
Back to the brothel.
Back to the Silken Sash.
So that we gotta go collect Gillet, who has been sleeping there for the past couple days.
Yeah.
The town seems oddly quiet, sullen, almost. The clouds above are gray, and they promise to rain at any moment. As you arrive at the Silken Sash, you go to Gillet's room to check on him. There, in one of the tubs in the room, you see him. The water no longer steaming. It seems to be just slightly better, warmer than tepid. It looks like he's peeling a potato.
The perfect place to do that, yeah.
As you look around, you kind of see several of these little potatoes that look like they're trying to be... like he's trying to carve something out of them. And as you look around the room, you can see all of his sparse belongings, the few things that he has, are kind of sprawled out in kind of a semicircle, like he's watching them, or so that he can keep an eye on them. And he's humming kind of a sad, slow tune, almost a dirge, if you will.
So he's naked in this bath, peeling potatoes.
He is naked in the bath, peeling what appears to be a potato. And there are several others around there.
I'm sorry, I can't.
You can't even with this?
No. See, what would Arnath do?
Is that a bracelet that we should get?
Yeah.
WWAD, what would Arnath do? On the inside, we'll have written, hug a griffin.
Yeah.
Hug an animal is what it would say.
Sounds about right.
All right. Gillet. The party enters the room, looking kind of oddly at you as you carve your potato.
Potatoes are for eating, not for carving.
Your microphone's muted. Oh.
There you go.
There we are.
And then number 3.
And now, this is how I slowly get rid of the party, just by having to do technical difficulties.
Chief, did you take a look in the Shenanigans channel?
Let me see.
All right. I'll give him a moment to try to get back with us here.
Song.
So he's sitting there in the tub. As you're looking at the potatoes, it looks like he's trying to carve a duck. Like they kind of have the form of a duck, sort of, kind of, maybe.
Is he trying to it's like a head of a duck and then the body of a duck, or is it like little teeny ducks?
Like, Gillet, you're muted.
Like on Discord.
Yeah, on Discord, buddy. Okay.
I was plugging back and forth for a couple things trying to get the video working. Obviously did not. So, hi. I've been missing a lot of things. I don't know if you've caught the text chat in Discord. Sorry about that.
So you're sitting there in the tub, whittling something out of a potato. Several other misshapen potatoy lumps are lying on the floor around you. They are, the party is staring at you.
Hi. You're not dead, are you?
No. And neither are you.
Most of these ducks aren't or are one of those.
Gillet, are you okay?
Do you need
I'm
a
not
moment?
dead.
And we're very thankful for that.
You're very much alive.
Why?
Lucky asks, why what?
Because Lucky, for once in his life, made one of the most unselfish decisions he could have ever made. Remember that sword that we bought him?
Yeah.
It had a wish. Just one. And he used it on you.
I'm the lucky one now, eh?
Yep, and no adverse side effects. Nope, none whatsoever. Everything's just fine. Says Lucky. No, nothing bad happened. Everything's fine.
Yeah, see, that's...
Well, as far as we know, everything is fine.
Exactly, right? Everything's fine.
He keeps mentioning a white dragon, but I am mostly ignoring that as fool's talk because I really don't want to think about that.
Well, me either. And no, of course, that stone is perfectly inert, and it's nothing that bad could happen from that. Nope, not at all.
Yeah. Right.
Gilly, you're not really sure what stone they're talking about, but
Yeah. Is it... Did you guys find something else? What?
did you find something else?
What stone? What is...
Whenever he cast the resurrection on
Oh, right.
Gillet, the stone dropped from his shirt. Not Gillet's shirt, Lucky's shirt.
Yeah, he cast the wish, and then, something kind of fell out of his chest.
You know, to be honest, it's lucky. I kind of feel like that's not that unusual.
I like the fact that we just kind of gloss over the. No, we'd expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went and cleared those catacombs, though. That's done and dealt with.
Sounds like I missed some fun.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Speaking of the catacombs, and Arnath is going to turn to Annalise, can you please not just run off by yourself?
I'm going to be perfectly honest, I thought you guys were right behind me.
Can you please be more aware of your surroundings then?
I can absolutely try. But I did think you guys were right behind me and didn't glance over my shoulder because I figured you all had my back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that won't happen again. Not fun getting dragged off by some ghastly thing. Right into the waiting arms of a white. That
Sounds like you all need a bath too.
that I promptly dispatched because oh, that blood curse is great. Anyway.
A bath sounds wonderful.
Get your own. This one's taken.
Take one of my ducky companions. And he tries to hand one over.
He tries to hand you a misshapen, weird, duck-ish looking potato.
I'll take it and then sniff it.
It smells like a potato.
Like it.
It tastes like starch.
Yeah. You know that smell that can only come from a freshly peeled potato, that kind of loamy smell that's there. Yeah, it smells like that with a little bit of bath salt. Bath soap. Bath salts. What is this, zombie apocalypse? A little bit of soap smell to it, but other than that, it's a ducky potato-ish looking thing.
Can't wait to eat this later.
There's like 7 of them, I think.
Yeah, it was 7 or 8 of them.
Like 7 or 8 just lying around the bathtub. Some in the bathtub, like floating on their side. One of them's upside down completely.
They tried to float. They died.
While I'm close, I'm just gonna bend over and just hug Gillet's head.
Your half-orcan cousin is giving you a hug around the head and neck region.
I'm gonna just have to pat him on the cheek and go, "It's okay. There will be more potatoes."
All right, so I take it you're all taking a long rest.
Yes.
Okay. The party settles in.
Is there somebody in the inn who would be able to identify the cloak that I took from the catacombs?
Not in the silken sash, no. There might be somebody in town over in the artisans district that you can find that can do that.
Okay. I think that might be my first stop in the morning, because there's no way I'm walking around town without my max HP back.
You take a rest for the evening. Everyone settles into the rooms that they've rented or hired out or whatever. The next morning, you all arise, ready to go. Lucky is slow to wake. And when he finally comes from the room, you see him. He has what looks like a cog or a gear in his hand. And he's just kind of turning it over and looking at it. And then he flips it the other direction and looks at it. Flips it over and looks at it. And he's muttering to himself. He sits down at the table. Barely eats anything. Yeah, more like picks at it. As he's just staring at this cog. It's about that big around.
Are you considering becoming a gnome in your next life, or?
What? No. No. It's not important. It's okay.
Why aren't you eating?
Not hungry. Just a lot on my mind. Sorry. Just my mind is elsewhere.
Does it have anything to do with the crystal that I'm still carrying around?
No, it's not really. Maybe I don't know. It's okay. It's not important. Are we going to Adelar? Is that where we're going to?
Yes.
Okay. Look, I need some time here. If you guys leave, I'll catch up to you. But I need to go. I need to go look at something. I'll catch up to you later. And he kind of pushes away from the table and stands up quickly, snatching up a pouch. You know, he has his bag, which looks like a merce. It's this giant bag.
Right.
But he also scoops up a small pack that you've never seen. It's like rolled up and then tied with a leather thong or leather strap. He scoops it and the gear up in his hands, and he kind of heads out the door quickly. Like, he's very not himself, not the normal, what you would see from Lucky.
All right, I guess.
He's a big
Gotta
boy. He
see
can
a
take
man
care
about
of
a clock.
himself.
Really? I guess.
I wrote down some information on that cloak. Remind me, though. Did I give you a description of it?
Not that I wrote down. You gotta just said, like, it was a cloak, and that it was magical, and he pointed it out to me, and she stuck it in her bag and then walked out.
Okay.
Yeah, all it was is it has a faint magical glow, if I recall.
I got played like a fiddle. She's gonna kick his ass later.
But it was adorable.
Oh, no. Never mind. I know exactly what it is.
I have a feeling I know what it is.
It was the fancy robe.
Yeah.
It wasn't a cloak, it's a robe.
Ah,
That's why I was confused. No, I know exactly what that is.
okay.
Yes.
Well, it's a fancy robe, and I need it identified, so I'm stopping by the place.
You head to the Artisans District, and you head to one of the enchanter houses. There are a few of them here in Landsport. They keep with the normal standard enchantment prices. As most things are in Kyrith, they're regulated because nobody wants that shit going willy-nilly. You bring the robe to him, and he kind of looks it over. Small gnomish figure with brown hair, hanging in waves down his hair, down to about his shoulders. A little chin hair scruff, in the same color, like a little tuft here. He has on these spectacles, and as he looks them over, he looks at the robe, turns it this way, mutters an incantation as he puts his hand over it, and then pulls his hand back and it's interesting that is. Yeah, I might be able to identify what it is, but you mind leaving it with me for a day, maybe two. You get a second opinion on this thing, and make sure that it is exactly what I think it is.
What's your opinion on what it is?
Oh, it's just a minor incantation of the robe, like say with just a minor incantation, like a plus enchantment that'll make it harder for the individual wearing it to be hit. Offers a little bit more protection, safety, security, that sort of thing.
So, what you're telling me, it's a robe of protection.
Yes, a robe of protection. That's what it is. Right.
And you need a second opinion. Why?
Because I want to make sure there are no other residual properties that I may not have identified yet.
Is that standard practice?
Well, no, it's not standard practice. It's not standard practice for somebody to bring off a robe out of the street, just walk in here and I go, hey, can you tell me what I'm usually crafting these things for people.
She pulls out her writ of adventure and kind of just puts it down on the table.
Okay. That's fair.
I come across sometimes magical items in my journeys, and I don't have the skills to identify them. So if it is not common practice to get a second opinion, and you have told me what it is, then I would be more than happy to pay you your fee for identification,
Yeah,
take my robe, and leave.
I tell you what. I'll waive the cost of the robe of identification if you'd like to do a trade with me. I'll get a robe here that might prove to be more useful for you. That's kind of a play on the name. This year, and he goes over and he brings out this kind of a slate gray cloak, and overall it has patches on the sleeves, or not on the sleeves, but it has patches all over it. Different items. This here is identified usually as a robe of useful items. I'll trade you this and waive the fee for your rather ornately decorated robe of protection. What do you say?
What items come with this
He starts.
robe of items? Wonders.
He starts flipping through the pack. He says that one there, and it shows you a picture of a lantern, like a bullseye lantern. That'll produce a lantern, filled, lit. There's one that's a ladder. I think this one has a few other items on there it's useful. All of it quite useful. Much more useful than a simple robe protection. Robe protection can't pull a ladder from it, or a window, or a rowboat. You never know when you need a rowboat. Next thing you know, you traipse into the woods as an adventurer does, and the next thing you know, you're like, there's a river. Wish I had a rowboat. Now you'd have a rowboat. You just pull the patch off, and there's a rowboat. Who doesn't need a rowboat? There's also a portable ram. You can give it to one of the bigger fellas. They say, here, back down the door.
Can I roll insight on this guy to see if he's trying to fence off a cursed item on me?
Sure. You can definitely give me insight.
Because that robe is absolutely worth more than a robe of protection. Even waived plus the identification fee.
He is absolutely handing you a robe of useful items. But there's something fishy about the robe of protection that he wants to keep it.
Sir, I hope you don't consider me below average intelligence.
Not in the slightest. Not at all. You seem fairly intelligent for one of your own.
The robe that you're trying to trade off to me is worth a vast deal more than just a simple robe of protection. So what aren't you telling me?
Are you an enchanter? Do you walk around enchanting items? Is that what you do? How would you know if it's worth more? It's my job. My job is to make these things and say, this is worth this much. Actually, it's not my job. It's my job to price it as accordance to the Enchanters Guild and make sure that we don't start charging too much here and not enough there, and sort of that matter. But like I said, it's my job to enchant items and make sure that they're valuable and worth what they're worth. I'm telling you, robe protection, sure, not worth as much. But this one's fancy. Look at it. It's got those beadwork on there, little gold thread. It's nice.
So you're trying awful hard to get a robe of protection. What aren't you telling me?
I don't have a robe protection in my house, in my location. And so I'd like to have a robe protection that looks especially fancy like this one. And I can sell it off. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm confused. You're saying both robes are fancy, but we should buy the one that's fancy.
No. The robe of useful items is very useful. This robe of protection is quite fancy. I fancy the robe of protection because it's fancy. The robe of useful items is something I've made. It's very useful. Might help an adventure. A robe of protection, what's this going to do? Protection? Yeah. Like I said, you can't pull a ladder out of a robe of protection.
She's gonna look at Arneth and Gillet and just, what do you guys think? Like, he's trying way too hard to get this robe of protection.
I think we should take our robe and go.
But I tell you what, I'll give you the robe of useful items and another another 50 gold. You let me buy the robe of protection from you. Or I can just buy the robe of protection from you right out. How about 500 gold? And I'll buy your robe of protection for you.
Hello.
If you like our robe of protection so much, why don't you just make your own?
Because it wouldn't be as fancy as this one. Look at this. Look at the beadwork on this. Hand sewn, you can tell. Someone took great pride with this one. Robe of protection.
He just offered us, like, a shit ton more than that robe is actually worth.
What's going on?
If we're functioning on the assumption that it is just a plain robe of protection, he just offered us a shit ton more than that is worth. Or we take the robe of wondrous items plus 50 gold.
Useful items.
Useful items, sorry.
Sorry.
What did I miss, y'all?
I went to take that robe that Lucky talked me into taking out of the catacombs
Uh-huh.
to go get identified because it had a magical tinge to it. And now this guy is absolutely trying to buy it at significantly more than what it's worth if all we know is that it's a robe of protection.
Sell the fuck out of it.
No.
No, Jack, before this, you missed how ardently he was trying to trade a robe of useful items for this robe of protection. Which the robe of useful items is, like, near wondrous item value. It's it's a really good robe in
I
comparison.
tell you what, mister. I think we can get our own second opinion. I know this fella named Solon. I think he can probably help us out with that second opinion.
I'm sorry, what was his name?
Solon, as in Grandmaster.
Oh. You know, there's no need to take it over to Grandmaster Solon.
It's quite all right. We're chums.
Right. Of course. But hear me out on this one. You don't want to go bothering one of the Grandmasters or one of the Masters. They've got so much on their plate, especially with the building being cut down like it was. They're busy with their magics for storing things. Leave it to the little folks. Take a look. You can go see my man down the street. 3 blocks over. 1 block up, he was the one that I was going to talk to. He can help you out with it. He's a nice guy. If he won't steer you wrong, he'll back up my suggestion that it's just simply a robe of protection.
Will he have a robe of many things as well?
No, but if he confirms what I've said, you can bring that robe right back here. I will trade you, and I will make sure that the trade is all on the up and up the way that I mentioned it before. Your robe, 50 gold pieces for this robe of useful items. How's that sound?
It sounds like I'm going to go get a second opinion.
Excellent. All right. Well, you good folk take care, and we'll see you soon, right? All right, then. Have a good day. As you're leaving, he kind of stage psst to Yenfear, and who just put a bite of food in their mouth. So I'll let you finish your bite. He's kind of like, come here. Listen, you look like the level-headed one of the bunch. I tell you what, 100 gold, my robe, your robe of protection. It's the best offer you're going to get. I guarantee it.
Did he just offer Yenfear 100 gold?
Plus the useful items, the robe of useful items. He's kind of keeping it quiet down, but
Okay. This is so stupid. Okay. Heads or tails?
Are you asking him?
Yes. I'm taking a coin out of my pocket.
Oh, I'll go with. I'll go with tails. No, hey, tail. No, tails. Yeah, tails. I'll choose tails.
Okay. So tails. I take your deal. And I
I
flip
like
it,
it. Huh?
and I catch it.
Can I change my hand? One heads. No wait.
It's
Yes.
heads.
Does that mean I get the deal? No. Oh,
No, sorry.
but I said I wanted to change the last minute there. I wanted heads. That's not how it works, is it?
That's not how it works. Sorry.
Unfortunate. It's a lovely rope of the arc, but I mean rope protection you out there,
Why do you want it so bad?
as it's quite lovely. Did you notice all the beadwork on it? Someone took painstaking to make that beautiful rope of protection that way. All the
Okay.
gold thread, the white threads, and all the temps, and something that I hate to see something that's so beautiful waste away in a place that's never been seen. And then to have it on the back of an adventurer who's just going to get muddied up. That's just a damn shame. That's it.
What'd you almost call it?
I just said robe of protection.
Are you sure? That's not what I heard.
That's what I said. That's what robe of protection. Look at this face. And he kind of points to himself again. Wavy hair that kind of drapes to his shoulders. Little tuft of hair on his chin. Young face, kind of rounded cheeks, and he smiles. They're kind of, ruddy red. Come on, this is the face of an honest gnome.
At
Wow.
this point, Arnath is going to walk back into the store and just going to take Infear by the hand and say, come on. Come on.
Just 1 second. Just give me 2 seconds. Just
But,
you
yes.
know,
Give him 2 seconds.
I'll be right there. I
I'll
promise.
take the robe off your hands. You don't have to worry about muddying it up. I can put it up nice in a nice little container area and keep it safe. Keep people from traipsing all over it. And what happens if you're wearing the robe, right? And you should fall by the sword.
Well, I would never.
Cedric forbid. But if it should happen, some grubby little goblin gonna get their hands on that beautiful robe, and then no one will ever see it. Well, that fat lot of protection will do you. But if you had a robe of useful items, you could throw a door and then sneak through the door, close the door, peel the patch off the wall, the goblin couldn't get through.
Oh
That's
my
useful.
dear. That's what the mending spell is for.
Yeah,
Can I use suggestion on him?
what would you like to suggest?
I would like
Okay.
to suggest that he tells me what it's actually called.
Okay. I need to make a wisdom saving throw if I'm mistaken. Okay. What's the DC?
I should have looked, shouldn't I?
Okay.
I hate reading. Oh god.
At the top of your character sheet. Just
14.
how do you want to word that?
God.
And remember what happened with vagueness with Lucky.
Word.
I don't think I heard you right. Could you speak more clearly? I think I heard you say something different. It wasn't the robe of protection, it was something different. What was it?
Oh. Right. What I was trying to avoid saying was robe of the Archmagi.
Really?
That's all. Look.
What's that?
Oh well. it's Normally around here, the Grand Acadian would have it up in one of their floors, locked away in a case, rotting away. No one ever going to use it.
Mm-hmm.
You brought it here for me to use and to see.
Oh,
We're fated to have it, of course.
Mhm.
So I'm happy to trade it. And it's not going to do your lot any good anyways. Are any of you mages?
Oh, no. None of us are really magic
Mhm.
users. Just because I'm curious. What does it do?
Well, first of all, you're much harder to hit when you're wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
Any spells that go against you, target you, or might have an effect on you in some way, you seem to have an easier time shrugging them off.
Hmm.
Your own spells, if you're a spellcaster of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
are much more potent.
Interesting. You know,
This robe that you have here is white in color, with gold beading around the sleeves and the arms. It's beautiful, beautifully ordained. He says, there's something special about these robes. In particular, it has to do with the color.
mm-hmm. Steve, shut up. I love these blue and black robes.
The worst part is that this item could have gone unlucky, except he is not aligned with the right alignment for the cloak.
He says,
Wah, wah.
they have to attune to the type of person that you are.
Mm.
Whether you're good and you see the world as mostly good, or if you're evil and you have nothing but evil intent for others. And of course, there's always those that fall in the middle of the road that want the balance and everything. Depending on the color of the robe, depends on the color of the personality that you have to have.
Hmm.
So this one here that you got is white. Usually standing for those who are of good nature and good people. If you follow what I mean. Are you such a person? Are you a good person?
Well,
That's not an
some
answer.
might say yes.
Some might say no.
Some might say maybe.
Some might say maybe. So you'd be more along the lines of a gray one. See, he told you this wouldn't have any effect on you anyway.
You know, in my travels, I've met quite a few people in my day, and I just, it's such a pretty gift, you know?
He looked poleaxed. You'd give this damn thing away. Look, I want to buy it from you. All right, look, 2,000 gold. Come on. And I'd give you this. Look, I'd give you the robe of useful items as well. Come on.
I don't really trust that you know what you're selling. You couldn't
What do you
even
mean?
remember what this was called.
I wasn't trying to I knew what it was called. I was trying to use Sutterfood to get it from your hands at a cheaper price. Oh, I said that out loud, didn't I? Oh, crap. Look. Look. It's not going to do you any good. Why don't you just sell it to me? Come on. You can do a lot with 2,000 gold. What do you do with this robe, really? What is your alignment, by the way? I don't even know.
I'm chaotic good.
Okay.
This is a really hard deal for me to make, okay? I'm sweating like a dog.
Okay, Jack, if it makes it easier for you, add a character. None of us can use it.
I know.
No. You can.
I mean, yeah, actually.
You can. It does not. It is not class restricted.
That one's not class restricted? Because I looked it up when she said what it was, because I've never actually seen the item before.
He's the DM. He can do whatever he wants.
Oh, absolutely.
It is listed in the compendium, so if you want to go to the compendium. Oh, it is. You know what? It is. I'm sorry. You're right there. It is. It is.
How dare you dangle
It
a
is.
carrot?
Yeah, I missed that completely. It is. It is class locked. So
One person in our party can use it, and he's not the right alignment to use it.
how do you know what alignment he is?
He's tried to steal from the entire party!
I mean,
At least once!
For the
He
greater
hasn't tried
good,
to
but
steal
the good
from
is
me
him.
yet.
But you
Does it
don't
mean
know.
you have to be lawful,
You don't know
though?
what his
We-
motive.
We
So-
don't. We don't. But
So
in
there.
character assumption, she's not assuming he's good. To be fair. But that's all out of character stuff. It's all up to what Yenfear thinks that he feels is the right thing to do, but 2,000 gold pieces plus a cloak of
A
a
robe of
robe
useful
of
items?
useful items.
I do like gold. I did spend all my fucking gold. Unlucky.
I mean, your clothes are already patchy, right?
They are not.
Oh,
How
shit.
dare you?
I just picture like Gillet leaning his head through the door and saying that.
Your clothes are already patchy.
Why would you want more patches?
Look, listen. Before word gets out, I do want to ask you a question though. Where did you find this? Where'd you come across it?
Just on our travels.
Did you steal it from someone? I just want to make sure that if you did steal it from someone, that I don't have somebody coming and breathing in my neck. In case
No.
You know what? As a matter of fact, you're being shady about that. Maybe I don't want it after all. And he kind of folds it up and starts to put it away.
Oh, come on. Don't be like that. I was just joking. We found it on our travels. It was somebody who will not be retrieving it, I assure you.
So they're dead. You pulled it off of a dead person.
I mean, we didn't kill them.
Okay. That was a yes or no question. You pulled it off of a dead person.
No.
You did not pull it off of a dead person. Good Lord, look at the size of you. Where'd you get it from? Come on.
Chest.
A chest.
A
Yeah.
chest.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. A chest. One point of question. Where was the chest at?
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter what kind of robe it was? Oh, look at that.
Dare
1,000
you?
gold then.
How dare you?
1,000
I
gold then,
thought you
eh?
wanted to make a deal.
Oh, I do want to make a deal, but I also want to make sure that I'm not going to get my throat slit in my
No, you're not going to get your throat slit. I wouldn't do that to you. Do
Sure.
I look like a type of person that would do that to you?
Looking at you the way you're dressed, no. But that angry one with the hair and the nice scarf, yeah, she looks like she.
Oh, no. She's just... I mean, arguably, she's nicer than me.
Hey, look at the size of me. It doesn't take a lot to get rid of me. You can stuff me in a box, throw me in the water. Ever see me again?
I mean, fair, but
If you say so.
I mean, thanks for giving us ideas, but
So we have a deal then, since you won't reveal your source of
listen, we got it from a
Ireland.
chest. We were in where were we?
the
No,
temple of
don't
Cedric.
tell him that.
You were in the
He
temple of
doesn't
Cedric.
need to know that.
We were just on an adventure. You know, sometimes you
Sure.
happen upon chests and
Right.
loot on the way,
You
right?
do, right?
And you know, it was in a place that most people
right.
go and don't return from. So, I mean, trust me when I say. Trust me when I say.
You're not helping the story out here.
Just put your foot in your mouth, Ian Fear.
Just, it's
You want
Already
to just
there.
walk out at this point?
You know, it's. I really want the robe, but I'm not sure that I'm ready to carry the weight that comes along with it. You didn't
There
have
is
any-
no weight. There is no weight.
How are you this bad at persuading somebody to let something go?
you know what? Can I roll?
Oh, trust either of you.
I need the help of the dice for this.
You can give me a. Okay, so. Are you trying to sell the. She's.
Yes, I want him to take this robe for 2,000 gold.
oh no,
and
do
the other one.
8,000 at least.
All right, so.
8,000. Yeah,
he,
right.
He offered 2,000 plus the robe of useful items.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm not so sure because I was awestruck by the beauty of it all at first. But now I'm curious as to where it came from. Because, like I said, I don't want to throw it slit in the middle of the night. Certain items carry certain weight with them, if you know what I mean.
hmm
I don't want to wake up to goosties and goblins staring down at me at the end of the bed.
No.
Scaring the piss out of me. So, I tell you what, since it's a questionable origin, I'll still pay you about 1,000 gold.
That,
And I'll still throw in the robe of useful items for you.
I would really rather honor our original deal.
Well, sure.
I would not sell you something that was cursed.
How would you know if you weren't it? It's not a 1.
Is it a
You
20?
seem... No. He kind of leans back on the stool, crosses his arms, hunches his shoulders, and kind of dips his head low and looks at you. Fine. I'll honor the original deal. 2,000 gold. But don't have that on me. So, take your robe. I'll keep mine. I'll give you 500 up front. No. Give me yours. Take mine. I'll give you 500 that I've got on me. And I'll owe you for the rest of it. I'll have it for you tomorrow. How's that sound? I have to call in some favors.
Aren't we leaving today?
Shake on it. Sure. He sticks his hand out and shakes yours. He takes out a piece of parchment and he writes.
Trust me, I'll get somebody to get that money. It doesn't have to be me.
He writes on the piece of paper that for trade, 1 robe, and he writes special in air quotes, or he puts quotations on special, for a robe of useful items and 2,000 gold paid so far, robe plus 500 gold pieces. Collection of the remainder upon the next day. And then he kind of folds it, puts his seal on it, hands it to you. He says, there, we have an accord. I'll take your robe. You take mine.
Gillet pops his head in. Are you still trying to sell Annalise's robe?
Is her name on it?
Who's Annalise? What are you talking? You told me that the robe belonged to nobody.
No. He's just joking.
Now you're saying it belonged to somebody else.
Shh, relax.
No, I'm not gonna relax. You're gonna get me killed.
You need some tea.
Am I gonna walk back in
He's
to
just-
hear this?
I don't know.
With the robe?
Are you?
He's just joking.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna walk back in with the robe.
Annalise, hi.
That's the
Hi!
one that robe belonged to. You just told me the
No.
robe. Give me back my robe.
Annalise, turn
My money.
around and leave right
Marjorie.
now.
No. Calm down. One,
All right.
I was holding on to the robe for the party.
Where did you
Relax. Wherever he told you we got it from.
get it from? Oh, I'm gonna die. That's what's happening here.
I mean, you took on it now, so I mean,
You're gonna wake
Oh,
up and
honor the deal.
Oh, so you've shaken on a deal, have you?
yes.
I wrote out the deal, sealed
Yeah.
the deal, gave him the deal.
Well,
Exactly.
then, in that case, here's the robe.
Great. I'm crunchy and milk.
Okay, listen.
Ian Fear, how much did you bargain this robe off for?
I'll give her the deal that we wrote.
2,000 gold pieces.
And how much have we been paid already? 500?
500.
500.
And he says he'll have the other 1,500 tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And if you don't,
Let me guess. You'll kill me.
you better hope that we don't find you.
Ooh, idle threats. Whatever.
Idle?
Idle.
Idle?
Is she daft?
Please
You
don't
see
test her.
coming.
Please don't
Please
test
don't
her.
test her, please.
No.
I want my money. Okay, Annalise. I'm just gonna finish this up. He seems pretty. So,
Okay. If we come back tomorrow and he doesn't have our money, well,
I'll
we
take
all
care
know.
of it.
We all know what's going to happen.
Mhm.
We're gonna talk to him.
You'll have
Oh.
tea.
Yes, absolutely, Arnath. We're going to talk to
A
him.
nice talk.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Just
All
like
right,
making
well, this has been
Sokka
fun.
eyes as you're leaving the door. leaving the door. Leaves the door.
Okay, well, this has been great. So, we have to
I don't know.
go.
Is that really what you classify as great? I don't think so.
Mm. I
But
mean, you
we-
made the deal.
That's right. You're right. You're right. I don't like your friend. She's rather testy.
Well, you
I
know.
wanted to see about maybe giving her some chamomile. She's a bit on edge. Maybe something relaxing.
I know. She really comes down during the evening time.
Really though.
During the day,
Still,
she's
I
really.
think you're full of shit.
She's really high strung during the day.
She's really high until she gets her evening meal in. She's just really testy.
She's just constantly hangry. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
No
Somebody's
amount of
beat that-
Snickers can change that.
Someone needs to feed her more often. She's
I
testy
know.
like a lion.
Honestly,
Right. I'll see you in the morning.
you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to resume my hand holding with Yinfir.
Oh.
Aww.
Oh.
Be like, now I'm ready. I'm ready to leave. I think.
There's a little bit of a. Huh. That's odd. As you guys leave the area.
Listen.
So, Yinfir, are we going to wait to collect our money? We have a job that we took out for the town of Adela.
Well,
It'll take us a couple days to get there, so you think we can delay another day? 3 days? It'll take us 3 days to get there. You think we can
Depending
delay
on how
another
you
day?
go.
Probably cut
Do
a
you
lot of
think-
the time taking the river back to Reedsong.
do you think the world's gonna end in 4 days?
I'm gonna be honest, half the time I think the world's gonna end tomorrow. We're walking around with Lucky, for God's sake.
Oh, fair.
Who, of course, isn't with you right now.
Where is he, by the way?
He said
he
picked up a what looked like a roll of leatherworkers' tools.
or
and
some
kinda-
sort of.
or, there's
kit.
something that I don't know. It's new. I've never seen him with it before. And he just
And
kind of
he's-
got up and walked out with a cog, kind of like like the inside of a clock.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
he
was
had one of
thicker.
those.
It was thicker, but yeah, it was like a gear or a cog. He
Okay.
was turning it over in his hand and looking at it
Up to
viciously, and
strange
then
stuff.
he
is-
kind of left.
Okay.
He said he'd catch up with us once he figured something out. So
Oh, why not spend one more day here?
yes, of course, you
can-
can
we
spend
can-
another day with your mother.
Is there something wrong with that?
No, of course not. Not at all.
Okay, I can feel your jealousy. I'm going to leave. We'll come back by dawn, I guess, and shake his pockets out.
You probably want to give him a little bit more time.
It's funny that
Bang
you
on
think
his
that
door.
this man
Where's
is
my
gonna be
money?
up at dawn.
It's
You know
funny
what,
that you
though?
think you're going to be up at dawn.
You know what though? I got a
I
feeling he
won't.
might try and run.
Hmm. That's fair.
Who's taking the robe of useful items?
Annalie.
I don't know. Me, I guess. I don't know.
I
Emily?
feel like I would not be able to fit it.
No. She'd give it to Yunfir. Speaking of which, we need to update. Are we putting that money into the party loot, or is Yunfir gonna take all of it?
So up to the party.
Yeah.
Well,
Who
I need
has
to know
the robe?
because I'll update the party loot in that case.
Oh, just give it to the party.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah, listen to your boyfriend.
Is what now?
That isn't canon yet.
You're walking
Shut
around
up.
holding hands. What else do you expect from?
So what? People hold hands
Okay.
all the time.
Okay.
Parents and
I
their
have rolled
children.
up how many
hold
additional
hands.
patches that the robe has. As usual, I will allow you to roll, or you can keep my roll.
What
The
am I
roll is
rolling?
4d4.
44. Can I roll?
Yeah, you can roll first and then decide if you want to keep mine or yours.
44.
44, you roll all ones.
Ooh, Jack.
Pretty good.
That's
Oh!
pretty good.
Bit of an average.
I think I think I might take that.
Okay.
Statistically, he
honest.
can only have 3 better than you.
Yeah.
If he's working on the higher end, anyway.
Can I see what you're gonna get though? Can you just roll for shits and gigs for me?
I don't think that's how that works.
Why not?
He does usually tell us what number he got after we've chosen.
I got 11. I had 11, so you wouldn't have been.
Oh yeah.
It has on it automatically 2 of each of the following: 2 dagger, 2 bullseye lantern, 2 steel mirrors, 2 10-foot poles, 2 hempen ropes, 50 feet each, and 2 sacks. So these patches are automatically on there. There's 2 of each of those. On top of that, there are 13 other patches, and I will provide you with that information at another time. Okay. Unless we come across like right now, we need to do it, but otherwise. All right. So you have a robe of useful items. Somebody has a robe of useful items. All right. Where are you heading to now? You have like the rest of the still morning time.
Well, I don't know.
I need to go find the local armor, weaponsmith, blacksmith. I need to replace
You
my
are in the
bolts.
artisan district, so it's easy enough to find.
I need to replace my bolts. I'm down to 9.
Okay, sure. Oh, you have a bunch of gold, so there you go. Enjoy.
I don't know, Yennefer, perhaps maybe you should upgrade your armor.
Really? Should I?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. Is your armor currently studded or not?
Is it? Did I upgrade it before?
It's got studs in it. At least one
Wait.
stud. Hello.
Ew!
I don't think I'd define him as a stud, but like that's just me.
Look, 90% of the party wants to fuck him, so.
That's fair. That's fair.
Kids these days.
You're welcome,
I
everyone.
say 90%, but I really should have said 50%.
This is just this is the quality content you get when you.
Okay, it's true though. No, I don't.
Perhaps you should come with me then. The armor smith shouldn't be too far from the blacksmith. Get a few studs in that'll help out with making it a little bit harder to hit.
Sure.
Well, not hindering your mobility.
Well, still sort of talking about weird magical items. Gillet digs in his bag and brings out that pitcher. Have you figured out how this thing works yet?
What's that?
The
Oh.
old stoneware pitcher.
That weird picture.
And sloshes it around a little bit, holds it upside down.
Nothing pours out of it.
No. Maybe we can find somebody who can identify that for us. And then try and sell it to us, or buy it from us for an exorbitant amount of money.
I mean, I'm okay with
You want to
this.
see the same guy?
Fine,
Or do you want to
fine.
find a different one?
At this rate, we're gonna be able to afford a nice little chunk of land for ourselves and be landed nobles.
Will not
Plan
just be the
on
life.
buying Adelar.
Oh god, I don't want that nightmare. Oh, by the way, Yennefer, Adelar has fallen into a state of need of help again. It has
Again?
been a month.
What a surprise after the state it was left in.
Right? But here, take a look at what they're looking for. And she's gonna show her the job posting.
Uh-huh.
Which basically explains that there's been mysterious occurrences and events. People will wake up from fevered dreams only to later go into a coma. Voices in the night. You know, typical adventuring shit.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Okay.
in a
People
little
die and get
farming
catalog.
town.
Hmm.
You'd think this shit would happen in a city.
Haven't you had enough shit happen in the city? I mean, really.
Yeah, I'm good with the on the city front. It's old country living for old Gil.
Country living, eh? Well,
Country
there's
roads take you home.
Adelars.
No.
No.
I'm looking for a blacksmith and an
All
armor smith.
right.
Blacksmith and an armor smith. Blacksmith for me, armor smith for Yennefer.
Me.
Okay.
Does Gillet want to go back to that same crafty little gnome?
Or do you want to find somebody else? There's other enchanters.
Well, I
I
mean, if we're gonna
think,
be seeing him in the morning anyway.
Assuming he doesn't fucking run off.
True.
He does
I
have
wish-
the robe.
I wish Lucky were here because I feel like he'd be able to put something on him.
Would you like to take your jug and go see someone? Or would you like to wait until the morning?
Oh, let's do it now.
Did we have a rest? We had a rest, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just like,
Spending your time, you find another artisan. You also find, you easily find the shops you need to purchase upgrades to your armor and to your gear. So go ahead and any purchases you'd like to make sure you account for the gold and stuff like that. Gillet, you find an enchanter. A very plain-looking woman with mousy brown hair stands in a sackcloth dress, tied at the waist with a simple sash of yellow, mustard yellow. It would look off and out of place on anyone except for the way that she wears it with the dress. It seems to go well. Along with her natural skin tone and the mousy brown hair, it seems to be a perfect fit for her. She is unnoticeable. There's very plain. Nothing about her stands out. As you enter the shop, you see not what you would expect to see in an enchanter's shop. Wondrous items and magical things, but what you do see are simple pots with flower arrangements, spices, cinnamon sticks, and things like that, held in little jars. You see hard candy in little jars with the lids open, sticks of candy. You see all sorts of interesting little things. She walks up to you and keeps her hands kind of folded in front of her. Welcome. How may I be of service?
Oh, hi there.
Hello.
I was hoping to maybe someone like you would be able to figure out what I can do with this, why it makes these weird noises like it's sloshing, but nothing is in it.
She scrunches up her face for a second and she says, "It's odd. Well, sure. I would love to take a look at it."
Thank you.
And she takes the jug from you and she walks around to the counter. And again, inside the counter, it's a display case, and you see some jewelry and some other things in there. As she's looking at it, you see a handsome man, roughly about the same age. His hair is dark brown, human. He has a set of glasses that are kind of at the end of his nose almost, and he kind of pushes them up for a second. He looks at her as he walks up and puts a hand around her waist, and he kind of looks down at the item and says, "Oh, what have we got here?" "Oh." She says, "It's an odd jug. It makes water. It makes sounds like there's water or liquid inside. But you turn it upside down and nothing pulls out." That is curious indeed. Well, let's see what we can do." He waves his hand over there, muttering a few arcane words, and as he does, tracing sigils on it, his eyes kind of glow for a second, and he kind of smiles and says, "You either have a very useful item or an item of not much use at all, depending on where you decide to go." referred to in a lot of the enchanters areas, an alchemy jug. However, let the name fool you. It's useful in that it can summon liquid or mostly liquid items, such things as beer, honey, water, both of fresh and salt. You can even summon up to a gallon of wine. However, hang on one second. Unfortunately, it's once a day.
I see.
It only can hold up to a certain amount of each type of item. And then he starts to turn it over and kind of look at it. And he says, here it is. I almost didn't see it. He kind of turns and points at a weird kind of word on it. And as you look, and it just simply says, Hudup, Hudup, Hudup. He says, you say the word, tell the jug what you want it to fill with, and it will create the maximum amount of it that it can. Keep in mind that not everything fills to the maximum amount the same way. Density will come into play with it. Certain things are more dense than others. Such as, it's a lot harder for it to produce acid or poison. Can make either of those. Oil is also difficult for it to do. But believe it or not, and he gives you a chuckle, it can make mayonnaise. If you enjoy a good mayonnaise sandwich, I don't know, you can get up to 2 gallons of that. But
Disgusting. But I respect your right.
I just got flashbacks to a friend who told me that they just eat mayonnaise with a jar.
That's fucking disgusting. I'm shaming all of you people that eat fucking mayonnaise out of the jar.
I have a little bit more control.
Oh, right, I forgot you really like mayonnaise.
I do like mayonnaise. I like mayonnaise on my
But you
sandwich.
don't eat it straight out of the jar.
No,
Yeah.
because I have some semblance of civility. I'm not an animal.
Thank
I
God.
wonder how many
Honey
of those
jar
folks
paw.
don't even use a spoon.
Just mouthing the jar.
Gross.
So it can produce certain items by requesting it. Can pour out. You can then uncork the bottle and pour that out up to the maximum amount that it can create. Once it's created the maximum amount of that liquid, it cannot create more of that liquid or any other until the next dawn. And that's how it works. It's an alchemy drug.
Next dawn. I see.
Beer, honey, wine, acid, basic poison, oil, vinegar, fresh and salt water, wine. Yeah, I think mayonnaise. I think that's it.
Melted cheese perhaps might be a bit harder for it.
Yeah, of course, yes. Unfortunately, it's not a
damn.
fun. Just walking around with chips in the alchemy jug. Just, like the world's worst cheese whiz bottle.
Oh God!
Open mouth and just
Committing crimes against humanity.
Get my cheese
Sure.
jug, boy.
Hey son, go fetch me my cheese jug.
This is terrible.
Maddie's sitting there with her head in her hand, and I'm not even sure what for anymore.
The worst.
We are the worst people. All right. So you now have an alchemy jug. I've got the whole thing of it making liquid cheese in my head now.
I certainly need Arnef to be the sort who could just eat mayonnaise out of it.
Ugh.
Ew,
Rigging my
you will
hurt.
not. If I have anything to do with it.
It can make hummus, but only 1 ounce at a time. It's just
Oh no.
1 ounce of hummus. What are you gonna do with that? Okay,
eat it,
3
obviously.
chips. I'm good. All right. So it's an alchemy jug. You have an alchemy jug. What would you like to do with the alchemy jug? Keep it, sell it, hold on to it?
I'll hold on to it for now.
Okay.
You
All
never
right.
know when you're gonna need a jug of melted cheese.
You can't make melted cheese, but you never know when you might need a jug of oil.
Honey.
Vinegar.
Blood. What?
No blood. No blood.
If you really need blood, I can help you with that one.
Salt water. Maybe you're fighting giant slugs.
Mmm.
All right. Jack, did you increase your armor? Did you purchase studded leather armor?
I will be purchasing studded leather armor, yes.
Okay.
How
Well,
much does my...
studded leather armor costs 45 gold pieces. And here in Landsport, yeah, that's about the same price. It increases your armor class as a base AC of 12 plus your dexterity modifier. So what's your dexterity modifier?
3.
So you would have an AC of 15.
Okay.
And that's if
Why
I don't
was
know.
it already?
Do you have a cloak of protection or something else on?
No?
Bracers of defense?
Nope. Did I increase it last session because I was planning on...
Do you have mage armor?
No. Doing the... Does my cleric AC change it?
No.
The fuck was I doing then? Okay. Maybe I did buy some earlier and I just forgot to change. Whatever. I'll buy it again.
No, I mean, check your inventory. You should have it in there.
I have leather armor. That's all.
What's your AC? Or not your AC, what's your dex modifier?
3.
What's your AC?
15.
Do you have a cloak of
Right now.
protection on?
No. We've been over
Did you
this.
put your name in the goblet? All right, so start trying to figure that mystery out. What are you guys
Well-
doing now?
Now you're
Whatever,
at
it's
15
15 now.
anyway, Jack.
So it doesn't matter. It's where it's supposed to be now.
Fuck.
You did take a level of cleric, is that correct?
I did.
You do have proficiency now with medium armor. You
Oh, do
could-
I?
You could go up. Now, keep in mind that most medium armor maxes out your AC. Excuse me. Maxes out your dexterity bonus at a +2, so you could not have any more than a +2 to your dexterity modifier.
So if I had 3, I'd have to take 1 point away?
So basically, you would take the base level and then a maximum of +2 from your dexterity modifier. The cool thing is that the higher value of the armor, like half plate, things like that, the base AC is much higher, so that you're adding the modifier. Even if you only get 2 points of it, will still be far beyond what you get with lighter armor. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so right now the highest you can get is 15. But if you had medium armor with a base AC of 15, your armor class would be 17.
17, eh?
With medium armor, that is correct.
Damn it. Damn it.
So, what are you doing? Standing around? Going back to the
Standing around having a crisis.
Silken
Wondering-
Sash to play some cards, have a good time? Whittle
Hell
duck.
yeah.
Well, I'm always happy to see Rose some more.
I'm gonna see
Freaking
if I
Arneth
can
loves
cut
my
his
mom
life.
more than I love her. Like, I'll just do.
She is a
I'll just do
wonderful woman.
the- She is a wonderful woman. I'll just do the studded leather for now.
Okay, so your AC is 15.
Yeah, so I can.
Okay.
I need to. I don't want
Heading back to the Silken Sash.
I'd like to replace my bolts.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Do it.
What would it cost? I'm going to be asking those friendly folks who identified the jug, see if maybe they would be able to help me out with this, to get a defensive enchantment on my my hairpin. And I take the pin out of my man bun and let my hair down.
She kind of looks at it and well, it depends on what level of protection you're looking for. It would depend on what level of protection that you're looking for. The higher the protection, the more it will cost, of course.
Of course.
Well, we could put a base level enchantment on it for 500 gold pieces. Normally it would cost more for well, but we already have the material here, so we can put the enchantment on this for 500 gold pieces.
All right.
That would give you basically a +1.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm going to have to check with my party to see if we are able to swing that.
As for magical items that require attunement, you have the bracers of defense on, is that correct?
Correct.
And you have a sword, correct?
Correct.
So one more piece should be okay, but anything after that, you might have to start ditching something for something else.
All right.
Gone are the days of I can wear everything that is magical.
Yeehaw! I'm invincible.
Wouldn't that
I'm
be
gonna wear
nice?
plate mail +5, my Holy Avenger +17,000. I'm also wearing the Helm of Brilliance, Boots of Speed, a cloak of Gafak yourself, and gone are the days of all of that stuff.
What do you say, party? Shall I spend?
He wants to spend money to get his hairpiece enchanted. His magical toupee. I meant the
Hairpin?
Hairpin.
yes, the hairpin.
I don't see why not.
Sure, why not?
If it'll help you not be downed by gladiators, that would be very helpful.
That was kind of what I was hoping. I don't want to relive that. I mean,
You don't want to relive that. He turned around and almost sent me to join you.
So,
all right. Well, if the party is in agreement here, I'll need.
she says, you do know that this isn't an easy process. It'll take time. I can have it ready for you in, say, about a week.
Well, suppose I can wear my hair down for a week.
Sorry, enchanted hairpins is something that we keep in abundant supply. As a matter of fact, I can't say that I've ever made one before. This would be a first.
Well, I mean, maybe fun to add it to your repertoire.
Sure. All right, 500 gold pieces. If you like, we can pay half now, and then we can settle up whenever you retrieve the item.
That sounds wonderful.
Excellent. She writes you out a receipt. You know, here's your. You gave us a hairpiece and 250 gold. Settle up upon receipt of the item after the enchantment is completed. She presses her seal into it. Her husband actually presses the seal in there as well. And she also hands you a stick of candy that is kind of red in color with a white stripe down the center of it. Smells faintly of cherries. And she hands you the piece of candy for you as well.
I want one.
Oh, yes. We'll get you candy. It's okay.
So, you have a piece of candy as well as a receipt for your hairpin when you're ready to, or whenever it's done. Give her a week.
Woohoo!
And your hair is currently spilled down around your shoulders, looking like Sebastian Stan, but half-orc version.
Ooh. Ooh.
And that's where the game came to a screeching halt.
Yikes!
A half-orc Sebastian Stan. Is everybody good with that? Is Steve good with that?
I don't know who that is.
That's Winter Soldier. It's Bucky Barnes.
Bucky, man. Bucky Barnes. the
Oh
dude.
God.
What do you mean, oh God? What?
How dare you! Sebastian Stan stands. Every one of us, except for Steve, apparently.
All right.
No, you misinterpreted my oh God.
Oh, all right, I got you.
He himself is also attracted to Sebastian Stan. So, you have that done. You have your armor, your bolts restored.
What would
Anything
it
else
cost
that
me to get those bolts restored?
Oh, gosh.
Yep, I'm making you do that.
Huh.
So you have a book. Thank you, D&D, for providing me with years and years and years of entertainment. Also, resource management, math. Literally, my math skills were honed because I played Dungeons & Dragons. One gold piece for 20.
Oh, alright, well then I will take 20.
Okay. You have replenished your crossbow bolts. The rest of the day is yours to do with it what you will.
Well then. Get wrecked, Steve.
I'm gonna go find some treats. I
Yeah,
got
find
nothing
some
else to do.
Drinks? Is that what you said?
I said treats, but yeah, drinks is great too.
I mean, it's a form of treat.
Why not both?
It is. What time is it?
About 10 o'clock in the morning. Perfect time for you to start day drinking.
He's the wine aunt, so
about that.
really.
Alchemy jug, Mai Tai, please.
Oh my god.
I love it. Alchemy jug, Bloody Marys.
Oh, now I want a Bloody Mary.
Unfortunately, it doesn't do mixed drinks.
That's okay, just straight whiskey is good.
Mm.
At 10 o'clock in the morning.
No, it does make the Bloody Marys, but it uses it's an evil jug, so it uses clamato juice.
No!
Oh no.
Ugh.
It's unholy.
Anyways, so you are going to go find treats. You can.
Yes, I'm going to invite Arneth to come find treats with me.
There are
I've been holding
candy
your hand
shops,
this whole time.
pastry shops, all sorts of things that can be found. Anything in particular you're looking for, that's there.
Mm,
Cupcake.
Cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
I
There's a
bet
baker.
you're a cupcake person. Yeah, that's what they're called, bakers. I was like, cupcake person.
That is fine as cupcake people, please. Okay.
Sure.
You go and find all of the treats that you could desire, spending, we'll say, you spend 6 silver in buying different
Mhm.
treats. Like, I want a brownie with gold leaf on it.
Yeah.
One of those kind of things.
The fancy treats. Hell yeah.
So it's just a bunch of pedophores. There's like 4 of them, and it costs you 6 silver.
Oh, God. I'm okay with this.
What do you
I
expect?
just paid 2,000 gold, almost.
Soon
The
be.
tastiest,
Soon
the
be.
tastiest macaroons you've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Annalise,
Mhm.
you are walking through the streets. I need you just give me a perception check, please.
Oh boy. Because that's always gone well before.
Oh.
Are you me?
Oh.
You
That's so
see,
sad.
you see a young girl. Her hair is pulled back, the two big, and then braided down the center. It kind of drapes over her shoulder. She's wearing a simple dress of white cotton with a blue jumper over the front of it, so that it's white underneath and the blue strap jumper. She bumps into you and then apologizes profusely. I'm so sorry. Her basket that she has, which is one of those, just kind of, it's just one of those little half shell things, nearly spills the flowers and things that she has in there. She stoops to pick them up as she apologizes to you profusely.
It's all right. There's barely anybody on the street. What's got you so lost in thought?
Oh, I'm heading over to the market. I'm selling flowers. This is what I do. It's how I make coin. Some days are better, some days are not. Today's not been a good day.
What kind of flowers do you have?
Oh, and you...
Sorry, Cap, we lost audio on you. Did I lose audio on everybody else? I did.
Yeah.
Oh
There
my
we
God,
go.
I just lost you all for a second there.
Yeah,
What happened?
no, that was a Discord thing.
Okay.
Wasn't just
You see bundles of wildflowers that have mostly picked on the outskirts of town. Things like forget-me-nots and like bluebells and things like that.
How about this? I'm going to give you, let's say, 3 gold pieces for your entire basket.
Her eyes go wide and she starts, no, I couldn't take your money from you. No, I'm so sorry. And she starts to try to move away. No, I appreciate it, but it's fine. I couldn't ask that of you. I'm so sorry. Listen, I apologize for bumping into you.
No,
Have a nice day.
No, I'm serious. I actually want to buy your flowers.
No, I understand. And she starts to try to move away from you quickly.
Annalise is going to reach out and grab a hold of her.
Okay. Just go ahead. It's not really an attack roll. Go ahead and give me an attack roll to see if you can, grab her shoulder or arm. Okay. Yeah, she's a little girl. I mean, she's I'd say she's probably in her early teens. So yeah, you get a hold of her.
What did you take?
I don't know what you mean. I'm just trying to go.
If
To the
you're
other
somebody
market.
who sells something, and you're offered a substantial amount for what you're selling for the entirety of your day, and you say, no, I'm good, after you've bumped into the person who's offering to buy it from you, you've usually stolen something. What did you take from me?
She hangs her head, lets the basket down, and then as she does so, moves her hand across the bottom of the basket, and she's got your money pouch in her hand.
Bitch.
Alright.
She kind of smiles and she says, sorry, love. Sometimes you've got to earn the money you keep. And you watch as she throws it to her right. You hear the pouch hit the ground with a cling, cling. It stays bundled up. You watch as a small, thin, whip-thin boy darts from one of the alleys, grabs it, looks at you, gives you a little salute, and starts running back down the alley that he came from.
Can I wing him in the leg with a crossbow bolt?
Jesus! He's like...
Wow!
Yes.
Okay,
guess.
okay, one, it's non-lethal. She's literally looking just to injure him to make him stop.
You're shooting an urchin in the leg!
Yep. Do not steal from her.
No shit. Yeah, I mean, why not? Roll to attack. Yeah, congratulations. There's a yelp in pain.
And she's gonna drag the young lady with her.
You look as she reaches up, and I rolled a 17 on the die. What is your armor class?
Mine's 15.
All right. As you got a hold of her, she reaches out and bites your arm enough to let go of her. She's trying to like wrench herself from your grip. That's an 18 on the die, -1 for her strength, so a total of 17.
Okay.
Give me an athletics check.
Got it.
You have a tight hold on her.
An iron
And
grip.
I am just marching her into that alleyway where her compatriot is probably
It has-
laying there bleeding.
This little apron part of the front of the jumper,
Mhm.
she reaches in and pulls a dagger out and holds it out. She says, "Release me. I'll stab you."
Oh, honey, you just bit me. You think you stabbing me is gonna scare me? Look, I was willing to forget all of this until you threw my money to the side. I was also willing to pay you for the flowers that you had in your basket. I was going to give you enough to perhaps turn your life around. Now,
Why couldn't you be
you
like
and your
every other?
partner are going to go to the guard.
Why couldn't you be like every other bloody sot in this town and just let us go?
Why?
They usually just give me a harsh word and say, "Go along," and then we go along. And then none the wiser. It's not like you needed the money anyways. Look at you, dressed the way you are.
Do you... Yes, dressed the way I am. In clothes that have to be specially made for me because I can't wear anything else.
So you can afford them then.
I can
Specially
only
made
afford them if
clothes.
people like you don't steal my shit.
Yeah, well, look at us.
Sucks to be you. And you know what?
Are you gonna-
I was going to help you. Because not everybody in this world is out to get you.
No, but now you're going to be like the rest of them. You catch us, you're going to turn us over. Oh, look at you. You're so righteous, following the law. Well, the rest of us out here starving. Yeah. I hope you feel good about yourself. Oh, look, they took a little bit of coin.
A little
I'm
bit
sure you
of
could have
coin.
made it up. I'm sure you could have made it up. She doesn't know how much is in there. She's just like, it's just coin.
Look, I get it. I get that you're hurting. But stealing from people isn't the way to be.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take my money back. And she does. When she walks in, she's going to take the money from the boy, who I'm
The
assuming
boy is
is
crying
laying there.
his eyes out. He's just crying with his bolt stuck. And he is just like, it's loud wailing crying.
And then
Oh, my leg! You shot me in my leg!
I'm going to take my money. I'm going to take him to a healer. I'm going to get my bolt back. I'm going to heal him, or get him healed. And then you're both going to the law. Because instead of maybe asking, you decide to take.
Yeah. Why not? Everybody else here is taking what they want from us.
I'm not from here.
Why not? How do I care? What do I care? What do I know?
You
Look
don't.
at you. You're dressed in fancy clothes. You're going to try to talk about righteousness with me. When's the last time you've had a meal? Huh? Huh?
This morning.
Were you well fed? Yeah. Must
I'm
be
well
nice.
fed because I
You're
learned
going
the
to throw me
trade.
the law. You think they're going to take good care of us. They're going to find us good homes. They're going to take the excellent care that we should deserve. That's right. That's what they do with children here in Lansport, right? That's exactly what they do.
I know they're not going to find you a good place. I know they're not. I wasn't found a good place. But I made
Yeah.
something of myself, and I didn't do it by stealing.
Some of us are offered better choices, I guess.
You can be offered a better choice too. The same
Yeah,
choice I had.
What's that?
You know that church? Up on the hill? Just a ways away from everybody else? Kinda seems like it's falling into disrepair.
The creepy one.
The Church of Castalia.
Yeah.
Go
Okay.
talk to them.
Why would
That
I?
was my choice.
Well, then
Why?
take me there if you want to take me anywhere.
I will. But first,
Okay,
we're gonna
law.
heal that one. Because I can't listen to his screaming. And also, if you're gonna steal from somebody, don't steal from somebody who's armed. Come on.
Like I said, most of the time they just shove us forward and say, "Get along," kick at us. None the wiser.
Yes, well.
No,
Not
of
all
course,
them
I had to grab one of these bleeding art kinds.
Oh, sucks to be you, sweetheart. And
Must-
she's going to pick up her pouch and then just kind of haul this kid up by the back of his shirt.
He's
just kinda-
he's like pale, like kind of lolling there in your arm. I've lost a lot of blood.
You're gonna be fine. She's gonna cart him to a healer. She's going to pay for his healing like she said she was going to. Get
Yeah.
her bolt back. And then to cart both of them to the church. And then she is going to pull out 20 gold.
Are you like frog marching them,
Yep.
or are you just like okay? So
Frog
you're
marching the pair of them.
everywhere. Okay.
She is going to pull out 40 gold, 20 each.
You're making your way through the dock wards, and you hear kind of a gruff, like a higher pitched voice. Give me a perception check.
'Cause that went so well last time.
Why does this seem a little familiar? And it yells out from behind you. Ah, there you two are.
Is it
You're
that
not
little,
supposed to make friends with the marks.
Is it that little shit stain that we did the job for?
No. As you turn and look, you see he's dressed a little nicer than the last time you saw him, where he was dressed in the ugliest clothing you could find. His hair's got a little more filled out at the beard. He's wearing a long brown cloak,
God damn it.
or long brown coat that comes down,
I feel like I know who
and
this
like a
is.
tri-corner hat that looks kind of familiar. Tall boots that cuff at the knee. As he looks up from the alley, there you two are. Oh shit! And he kind of tucks his chin down in.
I should have known you were behind this.
Behind what? I'm not behind anything. I promise. I'm not behind
Young
nothing.
lady, do you know this man?
Yeah, I know that bastard.
Uh-huh. You want to tell me what his name is? What
Well-
name did he tell you?
Huh? He calls himself the Scraper.
The Scraper. He
That's
calls
cute,
himself
man.
the
The
Scraper.
scraper.
That's my actual attitude. Was I sort of laughed at him as well.
That's great. Did you know
What
he
a
shat
stupid-
himself when the griffin took him up into the air?
And she busts out laughing.
Did you know this worthless little shit has tried to steal from me before?
He looks fit to be tied. His face is beet red. His eyes are glowering at you.
Did you know that I gave him a second fucking chance? And this is what he's done with it.
Hmm.
We did. We outfitted him with better clothes. We gave him a decent amount to get his life started with, and this is what he does.
I believe that was his third
Nope, we did it
chance.
for him as we did it for well, no, this is his second chance because the first time we were undercover, and then the second time he tried to steal from us, we actually set him straight.
Do you remember his name?
Reginald.
That's correct.
Oh, we told him to become a guard.
The fucking scraper.
So-
I'm so ashamed.
Reginald the Scraper.
This is
Wait till
ridiculous.
I tell Yinfir
I'm
about
so glad I'm not here.
this.
Look. Listen, look. We don't have to have nothing going on here. Look, turn the little shits over to me.
Where's your friend?
We'll go. But fuck if I know. Haven't seen him in a month or more.
So he went straight, like he promised.
He split ways. He said he was going to go do what you asked him to. And he said he was going to go talk to the guards.
Somebody's smart.
And you decided that you were going to come to Lansport and start a crime syndicate of children.
They're easy marks.
Oh my
No one
god.
looks down that low.
Oh my god. You know
They
what?
just let
You
the
two?
kids run and go.
You two are free to go. Here, I'm gonna hand you a little bit of money. Do something good with your lives. I'm gonna deal with this shit stain.
She takes the money and smirks and laughs, and so does the boy. As they walk by, she hauls off and kicks him in the shin. He gives a little yelp in pain and says, "Oh, you little shit!" Whatever.
Annalise is going to take the tri-corner hat off his head because that doesn't belong to him. That was bought and paid for his friend, not him. And then she's going to grab him by the collar and haul him down to her height because he's taller than she is. Just like everybody else in this party. So, you thought a life of crime was the way to go after we thought we had scared you straight.
It's the life I like. It's the life I know.
Really, it's the life you like? Is that really what you think? And she's just gonna kind of like walk him back into the alleyway.
He's gonna resist you.
Oh, of course he is.
So go ahead and give me an athletics check to keep a hold of him. How do you have a 7 to your athletics? Jesus.
Yeah, I do. I have a +4 strength bonus. And we're at a +3 proficiency.
Yeah. He digs his heels in, but he's not, you drag him off. He says, "Get your fucking hands off me. Listen. Congratulations on your life. This one's mine to live. If you're going to do anything, you might as well just kill me. Strike me down here. As I guarantee you, I'm not anybody's patsy. I'm not anybody's boy. I'm not anybody's man. I'm going to live the life that I want to live. Marching around here as a guard, dying to the first thing that attacks the city. You saw how many guards died when that fucking tower fell? You think I want to be amongst that rubble and those dead? No thank you, ma'am. Think I'll take my chances here on the streets.
Then you can
You
die.
go ahead and waste all your pretty words that you want to. I'm going to tell you now that Deafy is here. And he just kind of crosses his hands, crosses his arms, and looks over.
Bust his kneecaps.
Okay. That's how he wants to play it? That's what he wants? She still has a hold of him.
Yeah.
She's gonna pull out a dagger and slide it between his ribs.
He starts yelling out for the guards.
Oh, you think somebody's gonna hear you here in the docks? In your world? Nobody's coming for you. And just to make sure, she's then going to slit his throat.
Okay.
You're slow
She-
your roll, bitch.
Nope.
Damn.
Nope. Nope, she does not give more than 2 chances.
Okay.
This is she tried.
Are
And
you
he
leaving
persisted.
him there in the alley that you found him?
Yep. Like far back in the dark.
Your Aethlin is showing.
Okay.
A little bit, but this is
His eye.
unfortunately this fits her personality trait of I refuse to become a victim and I will not allow others to be victimized.
His eyes go wide. And he gasps. And he tries to pull in air as nothing but the sucking sound from the wound in his throat. It's a whistling sound and it's kind of haunting. Nothing but the sound of the gulls in the air. And that whistling sound, he watches the light fades from his eyes and he stares at you. And it's not defiance. It is not a hard man. It's the face of a scared boy that stares at you. As the blood ebbs from his face, leaving him colorless. And his eyes gloss over. and you drop him unceremoniously to the slate stone of the alleyway.
Just gonna wipe her dagger off and leave.
There's an audible gasp from behind you. A small voice. And then the sound of feet running.
She doesn't stop. She just leaves.
All right. All right. You make your way back to the Silken Sash. I take it the rest of you are there. Okay. Do you mention or say anything about any of this? All right. So you're back at the Silken Sash. You're going to spend the evening here, and you'll collect the rest of your money the next day.
Yes.
All right. Night passes without incident. Everybody collects their money. Lucky does not turn up. Next day, when everyone's gathered at the table eating breakfast, there is no Lucky. Not there.
He's a big man. He can take care of himself.
You go to collect the rest of your money. A small gnomish figure stands before you with his hands wringing them. So we're on track. Yeah. Should have been a little bit of a problem. Nothing major. This looks like I won't have all of the money today. I do have a portion of it. And he slides a bag of coin. Well, I had to call in a few favors to get the money that I needed, but unfortunately, some of the people weren't being favorable.
Why don't you? Why do you offer what you don't have?
Well, no, I have it. This didn't have it at the time, so we're gonna have to.
That's
just another day.
That's not having it.
Right, because like I said, I had to call in a few favors. Those favors didn't turn out because, like I said, they're being less than favorable. They said they can have the money for me tomorrow, but they don't have it for me today. Look, I have 800, and he slides the money forward.
It's in the bag.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it out and count it.
Okay. Takes you a moment or two. But yeah. And it's 800 gold. To the copper.
Okay.
I promise you I can give the rest of you tomorrow. But like I said, I had to call in a few favors and we're not all in panned out.
Well, if they're not being favorable, what's to say that their opinion will change tomorrow?
I have promises that they'll pay me better tomorrow. They're good for it. They shouldn't have it on them today. They had to call in their own favors to get the money they needed to pay me back. It's only 700 gold. I promise you I'll have it for you.
Only 700 gold.
Only 700 gold. I promise you I'll have it for you tomorrow, right as rain. First thing in the morning. We have a deal, right? We're friends here. No need for anything to be going untoward. And he kind of looks at Annalise. No need to kill the man who's trying to pay you back. Promise. Look, I gave you more than half. What I owed you.
Can I use words of terror on him? I want this bitch to pay me.
What is words of terror? That's the one where you intimidate them, like.
Yeah. Where's my money?
Feels like we're all turning into weird sorts of gangsters.
Sure.
We are, though.
Sure, if you'd like to use words of terror on him, you would have to be alone with him for the minute. You need to ask everybody else to leave the shop.
Can everyone stand outside for a moment? I just want to sort this out. Please.
Fine.
Thank you.
Alright.
They all leave. shut the door and turn around. He just kind of gives you a.
No, don't worry. I won't stab you.
Oh no, I'm completely terrified.
No, I trust you'll have the money, and I trust you'll come through. But as we said, if you don't, it'll be really inconvenient for us. So, if what you say is true, I will leave it at that until tomorrow.
I promise you. You can ask anybody. I'm good. I'm a good man. I'm good for it.
He gave us 800.
Yeah. But if you don't,
Of course.
you know what'll happen.
You and yours will come here, string me up, make a nice gnome-skinned hat.
So you might do well to
It's such a clean way to put it.
express the urgency of your favors tomorrow.
Oh, trust me. They already know the expediency. They don't want to deal with any of the likes of you. I don't want to deal with any of the likes of you. You seem like you're a terrible lot. Like you can do a lot of damage to a fella. Trust me. I don't need any damage done to a fella like me. Look how small I am. Small. Like a tidbit. I'm not even a halfling. I'm more like a quarterling.
Oh well.
Leave me to me.
Okay.
Fine. No, I promise you your money will be here in the morning. All right?
As long as we have an understanding.
Of
It's
course.
fine.
We are of an accord. I promise you.
Perfect.
I'll have the remaining 700 for you in the morning. All right. I apologize for the trouble. Take your scary-looking companions, and we'll see you in the morning.
Sure. See you tomorrow.
They're quite scary looking, just so you know.
I know.
All right. You, on the other hand, like a peacock. One of them crazy
Yeah.
birds that you bring over every once in a while with the hooked beaks, and it makes a lot of noise. It's brightly colored. No offense. None meant.
Told you a
Parrot?
Hey, is that what it's called? I don't know.
I think so. Anyway, thanks.
You're welcome.
See you tomorrow.
Good day. Great. If you're leaving the shop, where are you heading to now? You now have 800 more gold.
Do we want to spend another day? See if his promises pan out?
I mean, I kind of want to see if he pays up, to be honest. Is that bad?
As
Out of
you are-
character, is that bad?
As you are making way, there is a bit of a commotion. You look to see, and at first your thought is that it's a street fight and that, you know, it's being broken up. You realize that guards are moving people, and you realize why. They're moving them out of the way as a small cadre of guards are marching in the general direction that you are.
Okay.
Well armored. Normally they wear like a type of studded leather armor with pauldrons. These are wearing breastplates, greaves, gauntlets, vambraces, the whole thing. They're armored. The helmet of the one that's leading the charge comes off and tucks it under his arm. Very familiar face.
You guys might want to go do what you need to do.
Okay.
He looks pointedly at you and he says, "Are they caught up in this mess in any way at all?"
No.
What mess?
I feel like I should take them in to question them anyways.
You have my
Annalise?
word that they had nothing to do with it.
What did you do?
All right.
Annalise?
Do I have to draw steel and iron, or will you
No.
come along quietly?
What the fuck did you do?
We will relieve you of your weaponry, though.
Of course.
Certainly. You see one of the guards step forward when he holds his hands out. holds his hands out for your stuff.
Yeah, she hands over the saw cleaver, the daggers, the crossbow bolts, the crossbow, the hand crossbow. And then holds her wrists out.
What did you do?
He looks around for a moment. He says, "You'll come quietly. I don't believe those will be necessary. Come along."
Hello? We're a party?
Trust
What did
me,
you do?
You don't want to get involved in this.
Don't want to get involved? Well, I'm involved. Hello? We're
If-
traveling together.
If it's to be believed, we found a body to go with it. Your friend here murdered someone. And I don't believe it was in self-defense from what the story is being told.
What?
We're going to get to the bottom of it. But for now, we're taking them to the jail. You can see them there if you'd like to. You know the rules for visiting someone. Come along. And they circle you. 6 men, you know, kind of like in this pattern, with you and the commander in the middle. He doesn't say anything the whole walk. He's just very quiet. Keeps his helmet tucked under his arm. The processing goes quickly as they take down your name, information, and they walk you back to the cell. He stops for a second outside of one of the regular cells and he says, "I don't recall you using magic of a sort, so I think you'll be safe in here." And he leads you into one of the... Never in one time does he take your arm or touch you or anything else like that. He holds the door open and just kind of, you know, moves his hand, allowing you entry into the door, into the cell.
Is there anybody else in the cell, or is it empty?
No, it's just you.
Okay,
It's just an
then
empty
she
cell.
will step forward.
You do so, it closes, and the echo that it rings throughout the entirety of the building. It seems way louder than what it is. And he stands there for a second, looking down at kind of his boots. He looks up at you. He goes to open his mouth as though to say something, and then just kind of shakes his head, and then leaves.
Again.
You know where the jail is. You can go catch up to him.
I mean, as much as I would love to blame Lucky for this, I don't think we can.
Annalise wouldn't take the fall for something like that.
No.
You would remember there was this time when she was by herself, away from you guys yesterday.
Right.
What the fuck?
This is why we should not leave her alone.
Of all people!
Just bodying mothers and just bodying them left and right. You get a dagger. You get a dagger. You get a bolt through the leg.
Okay, to be fair, she
I'm
healed,
only 11. So what?
She healed him
Fucking
at
bad.
her own expense.
Yeah, but shot him at
Shot
his
him at
own
her own
expense.
expense too.
You're right. You're right, but he took my money.
All right, party. One of yours is in jail. What are you doing?
Time to go to jail.
Jack's having an existential crisis.
I'm just like, of all fucking people.
I know, right? Of all the people that were going to go be thrown in
Yeah.
jail.
Like,
I mean, to be
Annalise
fair,
was at the
Annalise
bottom of
wasn't
that
the
list.
first one.
yeah, but she's the last one we wanted to. Like, she's supposed to be the smart one, okay? And this is just silly. Yinfir's pissed as hell. Okay.
You make your way to the jail.
Yes.
The jailer is there at the desk and, you know, inquires as to who you're here to see.
I'm here to see Annalise.
That'd be the noble one they brought in.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Turns the paper for a second, kind of looks over it. Says here under commander's order they're not to have any visitors. Sorry.
Why?
Try back. It's commander's orders. I don't know. I don't ask.
Can I speak to the commander then?
No, certainly. Just wait here. Gets up, goes to the. You're looking at it from their perspective. It's the left. From yours, it's the right. But they go down the hallway opposite of the jails, or opposite of the cells. They're gone for about 10 to 15 minutes. They come back in a. I'd say tall, but he's not tall. For a dwarf, he's tall. But you see a dwarf come around the corner, wearing that same armor, the pauldron there, showing off the symbol for his order or for his office as commander. He kind of looks at you. The beard is not super long. It's been cut and trimmed and kept kind of like down to his chest here. She's been implicated in a murder.
What happened? What? How?
Trying to get to the bottom of. But from my understanding that her friends are quite powerful. With that sort of individuals on her side, we can't risk having her escape prior to being cleared or indicted of all of these charges. She is considered innocent until proven otherwise, I promise you. It's all in the up and up.
What evidence do you have? Anything?
Eyewitness and the body.
Well, who's the eyewitness?
We're not at liberty to share that information. Understand that if we were to share that information with someone whose interest might fall in line with escaping or helping your friend get out, something untoward might happen to our witness, and we couldn't have that.
Are they reliable? Is what.
It's not a big conversation that I can have with you. I apologize.
Can we at least know who she supposedly killed?
Honestly, the fella that's gone from this world would probably be not missed by many. Reginald Hastings was his name. He was known as the Scraper around here. Stupid name. Anyways, apparently had a run-in with some of his charges, some of the children that he takes in to run jobs for him. There was a confrontation between him and your friend. She let the two children go, one of which she had shot in the leg.
Are you sure this was our Annalise? Wasn't just someone who looked like her?
We had the children confirm that this was her. Not to mention, there was mention, one of the kids mentioned that she had said the Church of Castalia. Most of the church people keep themselves there on the hill in the church. We asked about those who were in the area who might be from the church, and that's when Commander Gantry mentioned that he had met and had help from one of the Church of Castalia members. Turned out to be your friend. Our eyewitness reported watching it happen and took us to where the body was. And that's all I can share with you. Please understand.
I see. It is a stupid name.
He's dead.
Despite the validity or invalidity of the name, still murdered.
Yeah, not something I expected to hear today.
Not something I expected after waking up this morning to have a murder happen.
But
But
we've
you know.
had. I really wasn't wanting to deal with this at all. Personally. A nice pickpocket, a robbery, someone stealing fruit. Anything but this. Anyways. We'll try to get the matter.
Speak to her.
I will try to make sure and see if we can get some time wait here, and we'll see if we can't work something out. All right? And he motions, and there's some stone benches that are over there by the wall, opposite of where the kind of opposite of the jailer between the entry point. He motions you to sit down, and he recedes back to where his office was. He's gone for another 20 minutes or so. You're starting to get antsy and nervous. You're sitting there going, what's taking so long? He comes back around the corner, and as he comes around the corner, Burton Gantry comes through the door. Still dressed with the breastplate, the emblem of the King's Guard in there, or the King's Legion, excuse me, the King's Legion in there. And he shakes hands with the dwarf, and he says, Mr. Gantry, Commander Gantry said that he would oversee visitation. You can feel free to speak to your friend, but he will be there to make sure that nothing untowards. I trust him, and he's vouched for the three of you. Although he said there was a fourth one, I don't see.
He's away running his own errands at the moment.
Certainly. He said that he trusts and vouches for the three of you, and he would watch over things.
Okay, thank you.
He motions, and Commander Gantry just nods his head. Follow me. He leads you around the corner. The jailer stands to have everybody sign off, and he just kind of waves his hand. He says, we'll deal with the paperwork in a moment. He leads you to the cell. You've been in the cell for close to an hour.
She's sitting dead center on the floor.
Just cross-legged
Yep.
on the floor.
Hat to the side. Jacket's kind of folded underneath her.
Yeah, he kind of motions and steps back, leading you guys to, not alone, but out of, not right crowding you, but where he can hear the conversation just to make sure that it's all in the up and up.
All right, who wants to speak first?
Who wants to speak first? I am actually...
It's like, this is an intervention, honey.
I'm really torn. We love you all so much. And you just
I want to start by
We're
saying that your
free.
rage hurts us more than it hurts the victims of your murderous victims.
I am really torn between speaking and sending a message, to be honest.
All right, then I'll go first. Annalise, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
First of all, hi. Second of all, the fuck, bro.
Bitch, seriously.
I'm sorry,
What
you're gonna
happened?
have to be a little bit more specific than that.
What happened? Why did you kill him?
Because he had become a monster.
Why didn't you tell us?
I didn't need to tell you. Because
Well,
as you notice,
apparently you did.
as you notice, you are on that side of the bars, and I am on this side. If I tell you, you're in the bars with me.
Okay, I'm done talking. Who wants to go next?
She's like, all right, I'm done. I'm gonna go,
I give
gonna
up
go over
on
here
you.
and cool down. So you admit it? You killed him?
Yes. I can tell by
And-
your expression you were very much expecting me to tell you no.
You hear a sigh, an audible sigh from behind you, from behind Yenfir.
Wait, you're supposed to deny it, but like, okay. They haven't technically
And
done a trial.
yeah, I don't lie.
So, what, by your definition, is a monster? Since he deserved to die.
He was exploiting children. forcing them to steal for him. I caught 2 of them trying to steal my coin purse. And when I confronted him and asked why he chose not to have a better life despite what we had given him to start his life off with, his reply was, "This is the life I am good at, and this is the life that I choose." Which means he did not give it a chance. He did not try to better himself despite our efforts, and instead turned back to exploiting children, stealing, and calling himself the Scraper.
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 You're such a noble. You're such a noble.
Ianfir, the other one, went to the god. He bettered his life. He took the chance we gave him and did something with it. This one chose to stay in the gutter. After being given the chance, and the words, and a writ that would have said, "Hey, I am worthy of being able to be helped." And I was going to do the same for those 2 children. Matter of fact, I did. Lord knows what they're going to do with it. But I gave them a chance too.
And what, if you find them years down the road, are you going to slit their throats too? Kill them?
It depends on what they're doing. Because you can decide to be whatever you want to be given the chance. And if you give somebody young enough money, they can be who they want to be. And that is what I have done. As for him, we outfitted him in better clothes than what he was wearing, so he at least looked like a respectable member of society. So he could have gotten a job doing maybe just about anything he could have wanted. He could have learned a trade. He could have possibly gotten work at a tavern and worked his way up to owning one himself. Instead, he chose a life of crime that exploited children. And you're going to tell me that's not a monster?
It takes more than money to make a successful person. If you don't have the belief that you deserve that kind of life, then it's pointless. I wish I had had more time with him, because I feel like him and I shared a lot more in common than you and him. And I'm disappointed that you seem to think that you're the paragon of virtue in this town. That you have the authority to make these kinds of calls. Why not just turn him over to the guard? What gave you the right to take his life?
Turn him over to the guard so he could serve 3 months in prison, get back out, and keep doing the exact same shit he'd been doing the entire time?
It's not up to you to decide. Weren't you one to argue that the law was the best choice? Weren't you the one that spent all that time telling us that we had to believe in the law and that we had to obey it and we had to give it a chance to work?
Yeah.
Where was that when he died?
That line between idiot and dead idiot is not wherever we decided.
I have made my choice, and I have made my bed, and I will sleep in it. If their trial finds me guilty, so be it. But I will not allow children to be exploited. Not when that girl is the same age my sister would have been. And that boy was the same age she was.
Commander Gantry steps forward. It's time for you all to leave.
Gladly.
Yes, we're done here.
He escorts you back into the front. Looks at you and, if we need to ask you for questions, I'm sure we can find you at the Silken Sash. Is that correct?
Yes.
Excellent. We'll turn up looking for you there if we need you. Seems, and he kind of looks back in the direction where the cell is and kind of says, seems a bit of a hopeless case, especially if she confesses. Says, yes, I did it. Well, thank you all for coming by. Again, if I need you, I know where to find you. Take care. Oh, where's your companion, the one with the dark clothes?
No idea.
The white skin and sometimes a misunderstood villainous intent.
He's off running errands. I don't know exactly where. He just
Well,
said he'd be back in a couple days.
right. All right, well, understandable. Sorry that our current meeting is under these circumstances. Take care of yourselves, all of you.
Thank you.
You as well.
You're alone in the cell for another 20 or 30 minutes when Gantry comes around the corner again. This time he has a sheaf of paper that's currently rolled up. He unfurls it and he kind of holds it out and he says, Annalise Gascoigne, you are charged with the murder of Reginald Hashing. You murder in the first degree, willingly and without any remorse, killed him in the Dark Wards. An eyewitness has been seen, found, and the body recovered. Do you have anything to reply to in regards to these charges?
No.
All right. Anything at all. And he rolls the piece of paper up and kind of, positions his hands behind his back at kind of a parade rest with the scroll there. Anything at all. Why?
You want me to say that I'm sorry for
No.
taking a lecherous cur off the streets? You want me to say that I'm sorry for that? You want me to say that I didn't do it?
Well, what little I know of you, I know you better to say that you're sorry. You wouldn't apologize for such a thing. I would expect, though, you, of all people, the one that fought so hard to keep Gafton Kane alive and were outraged at what happened to him, would so blatantly throw away what you believed. It's a shock, really.
I didn't
Shock.
throw away anything. But
Oh.
you see, we've ran into him twice before.
Sure.
The first time, he was with a group of bandits.
Mm-hmm.
Joined them because it was good money and he needed the money. The second time, we were on the road to Reedsong.
Mm-hmm.
And he chose, with his friend, God, his name was Harold, wasn't it?
Horace.
Horace. With his friend Horace. Horace might actually be part of your guard now. They decided to try and set upon us and rob us. At that point, we had taken them, both of them, under our wing to show them a better life. Set them up with new clothes, outfitted them with weaponry. I had been training Horace to follow in my footsteps, to be a blood hunter such as I. And Yenfir had been working with Reginald.
Mm-hmm.
And we ran into the Blue Griffin Aj, who took them both up into the air for flight. Horace found a better calling, and based on what Reginald had told us, we had thought that the same of him. I had planned, before leaving Lansport, to look up at least on Horace. Reginald had rubbed me the wrong way from the beginning, which is part of the reason why Yinfir, who understood him better than I did, took over his training, so to speak. And to be set upon by a pair of children who reported to him after we had given him every chance to be better than what he was. Multiple times we let him go. I let him go another time, he becomes a new Gafton Kane.
Right. I understand.
I have betrayed nothing.
At least as far as your personal.
Yes, I broke the law. I did not go into that alleyway with the intention of murdering him. I was actually on my way with the children to the Church of Castalia to help them set on a path that would at least get them 3 square meals a day and a bed to sleep on.
Very noble of you.
And then to find out that they were his, I didn't even know he was down there. It was a unfortunate turn of events that was the path that we were taking. Had we taken another one, I never would have encountered him, and I never would have known.
Did you, at any point in time, stay your hand, or did you markedly decide to take his life? Based on your own moral code?
I asked him why he chose this. His response was, "This is the life that I know, and this is the life that I like."
True.
Which means he was not going to change his ways, even with the law.
Did you own him? Was he a slave of yours?
No.
Was he in any way beholden to you for a debt or anything? I mean, you gave him clothes and set him on another path. Your intentions were there. But was there a contract that he was beholden to you?
No.
So his life in no way belonged to you then, did it?
No.
So regardless of the decision of his to make it or tear it asunder and make it into something horrible, it never belonged to you. It seems to me that you stole it from him. That's a shame. You seemed much better than that. All right, well, the trial is set for a day or two out from here. And may Saedred have mercy on you. Good day, Ms. Gascoigne. And he turns and
Good day, Captain.
leaves out of the area. Crew! Party! Who are not currently incarcerated.
Day drinking.
Yep.
Day drinking, you're back at the Silken Sash, just getting toe up from the flow up.
Oh, God.
Like 2 days in a row, Gillet's using that alchemy jug for the hardest whiskey it can, or at least the hardest alcohol it can.
It's
survive.
like beer or wine. It's a good deep red. It's kind of super dry. Like you drink it and it takes all the moisture out of your mouth. Gives you one of those wonderful headaches after you take your first sip. You're like, all right.
Love it.
Are there any trees around or near the Silken Sash?
Yeah, no. There are trees around. There are forests on the outside of town. There are a few parks here and there that have trees in them. Yeah.
And I'm heading towards the nearest place with trees. I'm gonna climb a tree
Right.
Stay there for a while.
You find a park and climb up into one. Into a tree and sit there.
Are there laws against that in Lansport?
No, there are no laws against climbing trees.
Is Arneth the new Pocahontas?
He's just got his arm around the tree, just standing there looking up.
Like Pocahontas from the second movie when she's in
Haven't seen the
London.
second one.
I'm mad that I know what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly.
So, there's that. All right.
So,
You
Gillet
take
and Yigbear are day drinking, and
Yeah.
I'm off in a tree.
Mhm.
the
Okay.
tree. Lucky still has not turned up anywhere.
Okay.
Dawn breaks the next day. You, Yenfear, and Gillet have headaches. Loud noises and bright lights seem to aggravate things. Arneth, you're hungry, but you're fine.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty sure you found something to eat, but still.
Yeah, that carved potato.
You're eating a duck carved potato.
And the candy that Yigbear bought.
Yenfear, you go and collect your money.
Ah, yes, I have to collect my money, don't I? I'm not in the mood at all. Okay. I'll try to look
Huh.
like I don't have
Sophie,
any
nice to see
of
you
it.
again. Look, I have the rest of it here. And he pushes a sack of coin towards you.
Why am I so suspicious of this? I'm gonna count it again.
Because you're suspicious of me all the time.
Yes.
All right, yeah, you count it, and it is exactly what it is: 700 gold pieces.
Okay.
No, bargain's done. Deed is done. I've gotten what I want. You've gotten what you want. Good luck. Get off my shop. Bye.
You don't need to be rude, and I'll leave.
As soon as you do, the door shuts hard, and there is a sound of a lock. Turned.
Bold of you to assume I won't be able to get back in. Okay. Well, whatever. I have my gold. That's all I care about.
You return to Gantry, or you return to the Silken Sash.
Mm-hmm. For now.
Did either of the other of you go with Yenfear to get the money?
I would have gone. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure
I
Arneth,
guess- Yeah.
you're in a tree, or so you don't even know.
Yeah.
When you return to Silken Sash, Gantry is there. He's back into the leathers, and he's holding. He's kind of holding his gloves in his hand. He's kind of wringing them a little bit. Ewa.
Good morning.
I felt it only fair that I should be the one to bring you the news that the trial is set for later today. I'm not sure what your relationship is with your friend, but I'm sure they would appreciate you being there.
Yes. I just had a question.
Certainly.
Has anyone claimed the body yet?
No, it was... Once the investigation has been done, it will be interred into the Papa's Fields. As is the case with most of those who are Papas. Those who are not those who are penniless, they go to the Papa's Fields.
I knew him, so can I claim the body?
Certainly, if you'd like to pay for interment somewhere else, that'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We can set the details of that another time, but for now, you would probably be best for the rest of you to head back towards the court and see what fate may befall your friend.
Okay.
The gathering of people there, and this is held in the Fort District at the fort itself, in the council's chamber. This is a big affair. This isn't something small. Because of your place in dealing with the falling of the tower, and now with this, you've made a name for yourselves. This has now become a big deal.
Oh, shit.
The crowd is thick with people. Standing on a dais in the middle of the room, in front of a podium, is Annalise. Annalise, you've been well cared for. You've been fed. They allowed you to keep your complete uniform and clothes. They didn't take your hat or your jacket. You were led in irons to the Fort District, but very carefully, Gantry seemed to have noticed and make sure that anyone who has to get into proximity paid respect to your, being touched or anything. They're all very respectful as they stand there. They take the long chain that runs from the manacles where your hands are and loop it through a hook on the dais itself, which is made out of stone, and they lock it into place. The young man that does that apologizes, gives you an apology. Sorry, Mom.
Don't apologize for doing your job.
And stands and takes his place. The council members file in, and then you see a Kamat. His fur is gray, almost blue. His eyes are green, like a deep sea. He is tall, thin, wears a bulky robe of his station. One of the magisters. One of the ones that oversees railings in court. He comes up to another podium that's there on the stage where the council members are sitting. And his voice rings out. People of Lanceport, we're here today to stand in judgment and make a decision concerning the remainder of the life of Annalise Gascoigne, who has been charged with murder. We will start by getting the plea. To the defendant, how do you plead to the charge of murder? He motions to you, Annalise.
Guilty.
A murmur and several raised voices come up around the crowd, and it kind of fills the air for a second. The magistrate holds his hand up, and the crowd the noise dissipates down and rumbles. Let it be known, the defendant, Annalise Gascoigne, declares herself guilty of the charge of murder. Let us first bring forth our first eyewitness. He steps back. You see a young woman, maybe mid-teens or so, step forward. She is kind of wringing her hands as she does so. She walks from a side door to not quite the middle of the room, but just off to the side. She looks at Annalise and then kind of hangs her head down. The magistrate says, please, in detail, relate to us what you saw that day. And she looks up and says, I had passed by that alley and I was on my way home. I saw her, and she nods at Annalise, with 2 children, and this man interceding in their path. She released the children, giving them money, and then grabbed the man and dove into the alley a bit further. I've seen him around. I know who he was. He was not a good man. But then I saw her move her hand. Her back was to me, so I wasn't sure what she was doing. But I saw her turn, and I saw him fall to the ground. And there was blood. There was so much blood. She wiped her dagger on him as though he were just a piece of trash. And then left. I fled before I saw where she went. I would never forget the cold look in her eyes. And he holds his hand, the magister holds his hand up. We only need the details of what you saw. Thank you very much for your witness report. She nods her head and turns and leaves. I would like to call in the 2 children that were in question that day. Cassandra. Victor. And you see the 2 kids, the one with his leg bandaged still a little bit. And you see her, and they're walking in wearing the same clothes that they wore that day. Please tell us the events of what happened that day to the best of your ability. My brother and I were working a job. We saw her. She looked like a pretty good mark. Look at her fancy clothes. I did what I normally did. Bumped into her. Told her I was a flower girl when she stopped me. Most of the time, they just kicked me and let me go on my way. Never the wiser. And I've got their purse. The crowd starts to give a big murmur again as they're all like shocked about this. And then they kind of quiet down once again as he holds his hand up. All right. Go on. So, she shot my brother in his leg whenever I tossed the money to him. He went running. Drew a crossbow without even thinking about it and just shot him in the leg. He went down a screaming. And then she did the weirdest thing. She took him and got him all fixed up, or at least started to. And he kind of points to his leg. She said she was going to take us to the church and have him teach us, or at least give us a better life than what we had now. And that's when Scraper, Reginald, stepped in. They had a fight. She let us go, gave us some money, coins she did. 20 gold piece. And again, the crowd kind of gives this murmur. Oh, that was a shot. It's a big amount of money. We lit out as fast as we could. Didn't want nothing to do with either of them. To be perfectly honest. She was terrifying. Again, the magister holds his hands up and says, your report was fine. Thank you very much. Victor, do you have anything to add? He just looks up and shakes his head no. All right. The children are escorted from the room. At this time, we would allow anyone who would like to speak on the character of the deceased. Anyone who would like to step forward and speak on the character of the deceased, step forward and do so now.
God fucking damn it. Okay.
He holds his hand
I
up.
got it now. If I'm going to act all fucking upset about it. Okay. I'll stand. I would.
State your name.
Yinfir Tandrak.
Please step forward to the front of the room. And the crowd kind of moves its way so you can get by.
This is so...
What do you know of the deceased?
I ran into him in... Where were we? Adelar?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I ran into him in Adelar the first time with his friend, Horace. They're so young back then.
They were so young a month ago.
They were so young,
Right.
just a month ago. How old is he? Out of character.
Like 19.
Fucking idiot. Okay. Anyway, carry on. We ran into them in Adelar the first time. They tried to rob us. I think they fashioned themselves as bandits, but they had nobody to worry after them or anything like that. So they just did what they knew to do, and unfortunately for them, they weren't very good at it. So we offered them the opportunity of Steve, shut up. So so young. Okay, well, this is coming from an elf, okay?
All right.
Yeah.
Digressing over.
Sorry.
They weren't very good at it, so we offered them the opportunity to do something different with their life and, maybe get into a line of work that wouldn't result in immediate death and dismemberment. So after running into them again, we kind of took them under our wing, and he wasn't very bright, but he tried. He seemed to want to do right by us, and he did try his best. I just think that he was changed a little too much by the life he had before we got to him, and unfortunately we had to leave and kind of set him on his way, and he didn't get the time or attention that he needed to become better, I guess.
All right. Anyone else have anything to add? If there's no one else who would like to speak on behalf of the deceased, then we will move along. We'll now take witness to the character of the defendant. Would anyone like to speak?
I'm sitting down.
A voice in the back. I would, sir. Commander Gantry. Come forward, please. Commander Barton Gantry walks forward. I've not known her for very long. Fortunately, I would say days. But I can tell you that she usually tries to uphold the law. Something of this nature where she would go outside and do something like stealing the life from someone, and he looks at you pointedly as he says this. Just seems far outside of the character of the person that I know. To the point where I wondered if she was not sorcelled in some way. Influenced and maybe perhaps driven to do this by some other measure. What I saw from her, and when we took down Gafton Kane, with which they were an integral part of, she said the measure of the law should be allowed to work its work. It should not be tested, it should not be tried, and no one is above the law, and no one should take the law into their own hands. That is the reason that I believe that the events that occurred, she may not have been in control of all of her faculties. Unfortunately, at no point in time have anyone taken the time to magic out whether or not she was in full control. I would request that we reconvene until such time as we can have her tested to see if maybe she was under the influence of something magical. There's a murmur from the crowd again. And it seems to be that a lot of them are giving their agreement. The Magister folds his hands and says, "Thank you very much for your input, Commander Gantry. Anyone else have anything that they would like to add?" All right. The defendant, I will now allow you a moment to add any closing words. Deliberation will be made at that point in time, and the sentence will be handed down. Is there anything that you would like to say?
Your Honor, with the Church of Castalia, I am required to hunt beasts and monsters. And unfortunately, the definition of such is unfortunately not easily defined. But a man who would knowingly extort and use children in the manner that he did is a monster. Because no man or woman should have control over somebody that way. These children relied on him for their next meal, for a secure place to sleep, and if they didn't do what he said, then he would cast them out. I may be noble. I may not come from the streets like so many others. But I have seen what monsters can do. And I do what I can to make sure that monsters do not stay to continue what they do. And that is all I have to say.
Thank you. At this time, the council and the court will recess, deliberate, and decide the fate of Annalise Gascoigne. And with you there in manacles, shackled to the dais in the court, we're going to go ahead and call session for the night.
Fucking fuck, man.
Thank you all for coming along and joining us for this kind of a wild ride. Sometimes the DM doesn't even know what's going on. I would like to say thank you all to Maddie and to Jack and Steve and Chief. Thank you all very much for coming along and playing with me. For all of you who are watching, for those few of you who are watching, thank you very much. We appreciate and love every one of you. Wednesday night, we will be creating anxiety and spoopiness in space. Come join us at 5 p.m. Central Time for Alone in the Void, where I play the Void.
Yeet.
And scare the bejesus out of people, make them think they're being sucked into space.
Oh my god, it got so real last session.
Only to have them landing in the cargo bay that they walked.
Yes.
I don't have any announcements. We got a lot of stuff in works here at Lucky Dice that we're working on here with Lucky Dice and Dire Bear Adventuring Company, including our Friday night adventure nights. This is the perfect way. This is the perfect first date because, yeah, you can go see a dinner and a movie, sit around and stare at each other. But what really tells the character of a person is how much they want to share loot. I mean, really, that's the kind of person you want to be around. It's like they split the loot evenly, then cool. Anyways, until next time, you guys take care of yourselves. We love you all. Thank you very much for joining us on this. And don't forget to roar for initiative. Take care, guys.